the Senate alone, there's very little any one of us can do. But together, there's almost nothing we can't do. Some of us this session will focus on the economy.
Growing really high-paying jobs.
To promote Colorado workers and businesses.
Enabling them to do productive wage-paying work for local governments, nonprofit agencies, and for-profit employers.
These are families that are playing by the rules, and they're still having a heck of a time making ends meet.
Inequality and discrimination costs all of us.
Employees want to work in an environment that is safe, secure, respectful, and fair.
A credit report or negative credit information should not be your barrier to getting out of debt and to full employment.
Some of us will work on infrastructure kinds of things broadly defined, bricks and mortar, as well as the intangible things like education.
This is going to not only strengthen our investment in early childhood education, but allow flexibility.
It also puts $20 million additional money into special education.
On average, 15 babies are born to teens in Colorado every day. That's preventable.
My kids in my house will grow up with the expectation that they're going to go to college. They'd have to fight like crazy to not go to college. These kids are kids who grew up knowing they were going to have to fight for every opportunity they were ever going to get.
Some of us will focus on prevention, things like health care and child protection and crime prevention.
Medicaid expansion saves lives.
There are over 90,000 calls every year of potential child abuse and neglect.
We need to continue to look at how do we prevent that.
If we're going to spend that money on our youth, we ought to spend the money. We ought to create a plan to use that money in the most efficient and wise and effective way.
Others will take on issues involving civil rights, like voter protections and even civil unions.
We are tearing down barriers, not erecting them. We are offering inclusion and equal protection of the law.
We know that voting is the hallmark of our democracy. We need to make it simpler, more accessible, and more convenient to eligible voters in Colorado.
We all depend on firefighters. Believe me, I want to make sure that they are well equipped, that they have the right equipment, that they get the proper rest.
This $10.3 million competitive grant program will provide funding opportunities to communities and private property owners for projects to mitigate catastrophic wildfires.
Having the taxes per Amendment 64 really is keeping the marijuana out of the hands of kids, criminals, and the cartel.
You go look at your history, you look at your violations, you look at your problems, and you prioritize the things you go look for.
Use these local renewables that create local jobs and develop local rural resources.